class. And when they are observing, it is helpful if they can see students. So if you want to keep your video open so that Devin can see how my teaching is resonating with you, then that's great. If you're not comfortable, feel free, turn off your video. Otherwise, I would ask right now, Allie has, I believe, everybody muted, but if you'd make certain that your microphones are muted, that would be helpful. And then make your way to Sukhasana, an easy seated position on your mat. And we're both going to start out here on the mat. I think everybody here knows my husband, Kent, but if you don't, this is my hubby. And he bravely agrees to do yoga with me so that I have a body to look at and we both get to practice still. So I want to thank him for that. And that's kind of the theme this morning of this class. If you want to go ahead and close your eyes, feel the sit bones pressing down, notice the low back, notice the hips. And if they're not comfortable wherever you are, feel free, take a minute, fidget, and let yourself get comfortable on your mat. So that might involve bringing blocks in, sitting on some books. That might involve sitting up on your blanket, whatever works for you. And then begin to notice your breath. Taking nice, full, deep breaths in and out. And I'm going to ask you to switch the emphasis. Often we start here by thinking about the inhale, which tends to pull our shoulders up. So instead, please start with your exhale. Think about that exhale and let the shoulders melt while you exhale. And then just notice how the lungs spring back all by themselves. We don't have to tell the lungs to breathe, they just do it. And that's one of the very first things we can be grateful for. Notice that breath, bringing it all the way down as you exhale into the belly. And then lifting, breathing. And just begin to notice as you start to stack the body here as you're breathing, pressing the sit bones down, lifting up through the heart, how much difference just a little tiny bit of space makes in your breath. How much freer it might feel. Notice if your nose is stuffy and you need to drop your jaw, that's cool. Just give that body that breath. I bring that up, that idea of space. It doesn't take a lot of space. In our practice today, there will be times where we will notice little tiny refinements making a big difference in our practice. And that translates off our mat. We notice that when we're sheltering in place, sometimes just finding our own little space in the house or being able to walk outside and sit on our back patio when the weather is nice can make such a difference in our attitude. Take one more nice, deep, full breath in and out here. And then bring to your mind what it is you're grateful for. And I'd like you to focus not so much on refining your practice today or what's your goal on your mat, but simply what is it right now in your life that you have to be grateful for? There are so many things that we're fearful of right now. So many things that cause us anxiety. One of the ways we can step out of that anxiety is to focus on all those joys that we have, all those things we have to be grateful for. And if you're here breathing deeply, that's a great place to start. You have your mat, you have a home, you have your breath. So as you focus your mind's eye on what it is you're grateful for this morning, bring your hands to your heart center and gently bow your head in gratitude for that thing which brings you joy in your life, which you know is a blessing that some don't share today. And then inhale, lifting the head up. Let the eyes softly flutter open and the hands float down. I'm going to move away so Kent has a little more freedom. Remember, talking about that space. I'd like you to take both of the fingers out long and touch the ground. Roll the shoulders back and down and lift through the heart. Keep all that lift through the spine and then pull the rib points towards the hips, compressing and corseting the front body. Then keep all that action in the body as you inhale and float the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale and press the arms back down. This time, float the arms all the way up and grasp opposite elbows. As you pull those elbows apart, bursting the elbows, notice what's happening with the shoulder blades. Then notice what's happening with the ribs. Are your ribs sticking out? If so, again, pull those rib points down towards the hips. Roll the shoulders on the back and draw them away from each other. Inhale those arms up and exhale them down, noticing how the shoulders feel. Inhale all the way up, let the gaze follow the fingers. Exhale the hands back down. And then again, one more time. Inhale all the way up, reach up, over, grasp opposite elbows, burst those shoulders apart. Breathe, pull those hip points and rib points together. Feel the abdominals work. And then inhale, stretch the arms up, and exhale, float them down. Inhale all the way up. Exhale down. As you inhale, bring the arms just parallel to the floor. Slowly reverse and flip those palms, thumbs pointing behind you. Press through the fingers and then draw the thumbs back behind you. Did your ribs just pop forward again? If so, use those abdominal muscles and pull those ribs towards the hips. Keep the shoulders on the back. Can you look up and then lift the arms without letting the ribs pop out, keeping the shoulders on the back? And then exhale and float the arms down. Take the left hand over to the right knee, lift up through the heart, and take the right hand behind you. Just 3 gentle, easy twists here, lifting up through the spine and then exhaling and twisting deeper. Nothing real aggressive to start out yet. Moving at your own pace. When you've completed that 3rd breath, simply come back through the center and bring the right hand over to the left knee and the left hand behind you. And again, inhale, lifting up, relax on the exhale, drawing the shoulders down the back, twisting. 3 breaths here. And then feel free to unwind. Go ahead and rock far enough forward you can take your blanket out away from you and make your way onto your back with your strap nearby. And as you come all the way down onto the mat, build your Supta Tadasana. So press down through each foot and then flex those toes. And then press the thighs towards the mat. Corset those ribs together. Roll the shoulders back onto the back and breathe. Now flip your hands so that the knife edge of your hands is pressing into the floor and your thumbs are up. Bring the hands in close to the sides. And then as you inhale, float the arms all the way up and try to get the thumbs to touch the ground. As you exhale, press back down and bring the hands back to your side. Inhale, sweeping the arms back up. Again, the thumbs come down towards the ground. Now notice your rib cage. With the arms extended, can you pull the ribs in towards the hips and press the arms back behind you? And then exhale and bring the arms back down by your sides. Go ahead and draw both knees in towards your chest and just grasp those shins. Give them a nice little hug, maybe rock side to side, whatever feels good here. Just warming up that back, feeling good. One more time, inhale, pull the head up towards the knees, and then exhale and relax back and down. Keep the legs in close to the chest, sorry about that. Draw the right knee in nice and tight and stretch the left leg out long. Keep it hovering over the mat, pull the belly in and draw the belly down towards the floor. Switch those legs out using the breath, drawing the left knee in, stretching the right leg out, hovering over the floor, using the core, pulling the ribs towards the floor. And again, switch those legs out. Keep pulling that right knee in, getting a nice long extension through the left side. And when you're ready, switch the legs one more time. Then draw both knees back in towards the chest, and while you hold the shins in nice and close, draw the knees close together. And then go ahead and play with the ankles, rolling those ankles around, and then maybe flexing the toes, having a little bit of fun, waking up the feet here. And then still this movement. Now keep the right knee in close to the chest, stretch the left leg out long and lay that leg out on the floor. Keep all that length as you press through that left heel and flex those left toes and grasp your strap, placing it around the arch of your right foot. As you get the strap situated, and you will hear this differently from different teachers, but I really do like the idea of having the strap down for the most part, down by the heel. And the reason for that is to be able to pull the leg back into the hip socket and help you anchor back there. Now with the strap situated on your foot, transfer the straps over to your right hand and take your left arm out long on the floor. Sorry about that, he's too close to the fireplace. And as you press down, push out through the heel. Notice if you feel too much sensation in the back of the knee, feel free to bend that knee slightly, all right? We wanna feel sensation, but not pain. Then on an exhale, as you anchor the left hip down, take the right leg out to the right side body. Nice deep breaths here. And notice if those ribs, what they want to do. Can you try to pull the back left ribs down onto the mat as you stretch your right leg out? And on your next inhale, use the inner thigh to draw the right leg back up, not the right arm. And then switch those strap hands out. The right arm goes out long. And as you press through that right heel, the hips roll. Left foot still stays active as the right leg stretches cross body. Now we're going to notice the lower right rib cage. And as Kent works to relax that right shoulder, he's going to work to draw that lower right rib cage down, even as he takes the right leg further across the body. And then inhale and sweep the leg up, bend the knee, take the strap off, draw both knees in close to the chest. Take a moment here. And then holding that left knee, stretch that right leg out long. And place the strap along the left foot as the right leg comes down onto the ground. Stretching that left leg straight again, being mindful of the back of the knee, but pushing through the heel, looking for length. Take that right arm out long, try to relax your wrist, relax the shoulder, and then exhale and take the left leg out to the left side body. And again, we want to try to anchor that hip down if we can. Pull in and corset the ribs, pressing them towards the mat. You're practicing a form of abdominal bracing here. And that's what's holding you, keeping you from rolling. And then when you're ready, inhale and draw the left leg back up through center. Switch those strap hands out. Left arm stretches out long, perhaps pressing onto the floor as the left leg sweeps across body, pressing through both heels. And again, now we focus on the left back ribs, thinking, can I relax the shoulder down? Can I relax the back ribs down? I love, can you see the flex in the toes? That's beautiful. And then when you're ready, pull that left leg back up, bend the knee, draw the knee in towards the chest, take the strap off, and draw both legs back in towards the chest. Grasp the shins and go ahead and rock back and forth, just giving your back a little rub, making certain that your props are out of the way on the right side of your mat. Roll to your right side and make your way up, finding your tabletop. Once you find your tabletop, tuck your toes and then press your hands back towards your knees, drawing your hips down on your heels, coming to a toe crunching position. This is not my husband's favorite position. And so if it's not yours, feel free to tuck and untuck the toes, but try to come all the way back and kneel for toe crunching. And again, I'd like you to focus here on those rib points. As we get that low back curve, which is healthy for our back, we tend to get it by sticking out the ribs. So pull the ribs towards the hips, lift the heart, and stack the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms up. And then exhale and draw the hands down. Float the arms all the way up and grasp opposite shoulders. Pull those rib points towards the hip points. Breathe. On your inhale, stretch your arms up and exhale the hands down. Press forward, finding your tabletop. Now in this tabletop, can you translate that pulling, corseting of the rib cage? So I'd like you to just let your belly drop towards the floor, which is often what we see in cow. Just let the belly drop as much as it wants to go and take all engagement out of the belly. So go ahead and do that at home. Just let that belly hang there like that cow that needs to be milked. And then we're going to do the opposite. I want you to breathe, Kent, into my hand, even as you press your belly towards the floor. Yeah, it's a push me, pull you action. So we're pulling in, we're drawing the ribs towards the hips, and we're trying to use even the back muscles to help us control what the belly's doing. So you may not feel as big of a dip down there, and that's okay. Now, focusing on using the front and the back muscles, go ahead and enjoy 5 cat-cows using your breath. On the inhale, pressing to cow and noticing, do I just let go of the belly? Or am I using the muscles to press my body where I want it to go? Totally different feeling in your cat-cow. When you have completed your 5th, just come to a nice solid tabletop. And since Kent's finished, I'm going to assume most of you are too. We'll all catch up here in table. And then I'd like you to extend your right leg just to hip height, pressing through the heel. And then extend the opposite arm. So extend the left arm. Pull everything towards the midline of the body. Pull the belly up towards the spine. Corset those ribs. Roll the shoulders on the back. And then slide the arm and the leg out for awkward airplane. Left arm goes out. Right arm goes out. Right leg, sorry. That would be an awkward airplane. And when you're ready, come back through the center and release the hands and the feet back to a neutral table. When you're ready, we're going to extend the opposite leg and the opposite arm out. Excuse me. Press through the foot and through the hand. Pull everything up and then slide that right arm out and that left leg out. Beautiful. Come back through neutral and bring everything back down into a neutral tabletop position. Draw the toes together, take the knees as wide as your mat. Exhale your hips back and find a child's pose. Now in this child's pose, remember we want to focus on opening up those hips. And so releasing the hips towards the heels. If you've got someone practicing with you, or someone in your household, you can always ask them to you can always show them this press, just pressing the hands on the sacrum and then stretching and pressing down. One more breath here in your child's pose. And then press back up and through, finding your tabletop position. From this tabletop, we're going to do a modified side plank. And this is a side plank everyone can always go back to. So I want you to, I have to do it. I can't just say it. I want you to press your weight into your right hand and take your left fingers out to the side, tenting those fingers. And then pivot your right foot out to the side so that it lays flat on the floor and extend your left leg out. Bring your left hand up to your left hip. Push your hips forward and extend the left arm towards the sky. So this is always a variation we can come back to. And when we are here in this Vashisthasana, I want you to think about pressing your foot down if you can. Beautiful. And lifting through the arm. Roll the hands back down, coming back through your tabletop. And now you'll get to see the back side of this as Kent presses his weight into his left hand. And you draw your right fingers out, tenting them. Left foot flexes out. And the right foot comes out long on the mat. Draw that right arm up towards the sky. Remember to push your hips forward slightly, which will help here open the back bend in the heart. And when you're ready, unroll this Press back through a table and push back to child's pose. Make this one a nice active child's pose. So extend those fingers out in front of you. And breathe, exhaling as you press the hips down. Inhaling as you stretch through those fingers. One more nice big breath here. And then inhale, lifting up through your table. Draw your right knee forward, finding a low lunge. Now in this low lunge, the very first thing I want you to do is scissor those legs together. And then inhale and raise the arms up. Exhale and bring the hands down to the sides and point the fingers towards the floor. Roll the shoulders onto the back. Inhale, lifting the arms up, palms up. Draw the fingertips up towards the sky. Keep scissoring those legs here and tuck the back toes. Now your choice, you're welcome to stay here or shift the weight slightly forward into the right foot and then straighten the back leg. Try to stay nice and low in this lunge, lifted lunge, sorry. And exhale the hands down to frame that front foot. Drop the left knee down and switch the legs out, finding a low lunge. Once you found your lunge, remember, press the feet down and scissor everything towards each other. Front foot towards back knee towards front foot, belly pulls in, arms sweep up. Exhale the hands back down. And then flip the palms and reach those arms all the way up. Tuck those back toes. You decide, are you ready? Stretch that back leg straight, trying to stay nice and low here in your lunge. And then exhale the hands down to frame that front foot. Drop that right knee and switch or hop the legs back into your low lunge. We're going to add on to that with a humble warrior. So scissor those legs together. Inhale, palms up. Shoulders on the back, hands reach up. Tuck the back toes if you'd like and stretch back into your low lunge, your lifted lunge. Allie's going to correct me on that. And breathe. Now count's going to stay down. If you want to stay there, feel free. I'm up, lifted. Exhale the hands back behind you. Press the hands towards your back heel. If your left knee is lifted, I want you to really press through that heel, straightening the leg and dip down low. Then lift through the heart, let the gaze rise up. And as you exhale, release forward for your humble warrior. You might just come to rest on the right knee, the right thigh, or you might draw to the inside. The cool thing is you're nice and low to the floor here, so if you lose it, you just drop your hands down and grab yourself. It's all good. Now, if you're in your humble warrior and you want that shoulder opener, lift those fingers towards the sky. Release the hands and bring them down to surround that front foot. And if you've lifted your knee, drop the knee down, switch the legs out. Scissor those legs together. Hands come down by the sides. Flip the palms outside and then wind those arms up. Bring the shoulders onto the back. And breathe. Scissor everything together and you decide, are you going to stay in your low lunge here? I'm going to move back a little bit. Or are you going to press up to a lifted or a high lunge? From here, wherever you're at, hands come down, funky grip. Press the hands towards the heel. If your heel is lifted, be mindful of that bent knee. Press through the heel to straighten the leg, pull the belly in, and then lift through the heart. And exhale to your humble warrior. Again, it's always cool to use the left shoulder to help hold you here if your balance feels wobbly. But maybe you can draw to the inside and then stretch the arms towards the sky. Let the crown of the head drop towards the floor. Releasing the hands to frame that front foot, either dropping the right knee down or simply stepping forward. Make your way up and find a forward fold at the front of your mat. Nice big bend in your knees. In this forward fold, just let the head relax. Let the shoulders relax. Big bend in those knees. Lift through the sit bones so the head drops closer to the floor. Take the hands wider than the feet and roll the shoulders further away from each other.
Slide the hands up the outsides of the shins, straighten the legs, and come to Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Bring the hands to the hips, pull the elbows together, and press all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. If you need a drink, go ahead and grab one before we start our next sequence. And we'll all meet at the top of the mat. When you come to the top of your mat, we're going to be doing 3 different sun salutation A's, and we'll have some variations in there. So come to the top of your mat, build your Tadasana. We started with Supta Tadasana. Build your Tadasana here. Press down through the feet, draw the shins in, pull the thighs apart, engage the glutes, pull the belly up and in, roll the shoulders down and apart, release the hands towards the floor. Lift up through the crown of the head, lengthening the neck. Take a big breath. Exhale fully. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Nice big forward fold. Each time we come down, lifting those sit bones, dropping the head further down. Inhale, halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana, any variation you'd like. Exhale and forward fold. Bend your knees, place your hands and step right, left, back to a plank. As you exhale in Chaturanga, perhaps you pause and hover slightly and then come all the way down onto your mat. We're going to take a variation of fingertip cobra here. So drawing your arms out nice and wide on off of your mat. Take them even further out so they're off the mat. Elbows towards the sky. Press the toenails into the ground so the knees lift up, press the pelvis, pull the heart forward and lift up into fingertip cobra. Now release those shoulders by pressing them further away from each other and look over to your left. Come back to center. Look to your right. Come back to center and exhale all the way down. Draw the hands back in. Tuck the toes, exhale, press through table and back to down dog. Take a couple of breaths here in this first dog, warming yourself up. You can walk the legs out. You can do whatever feels good here. Nice. And with your next breath, still your dog a little bit. Remember, as you push the mat away with your fingertips, you press the weight back. If that means that you bend the knees more so that you can lift the sit bones, that's great. One more breath here, and then look forward, and at the bottom of the exhale, step or come hop forward, either one. Whatever works for you, just make your way to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands down to heart center. We'll do another Sun A. Inhale, sweeping all the way up. Exhaling, forward folding. Inhaling, halfway up. Exhaling and folding. Place your hands and find your plank. Remembering a modified plank is always fine if you need it, right? Dropping those knees and finding that modified plank. Exhale, Chaturanga, coming down. Come all the way down to your mat. We're coming to a Sphinx pose. So draw your elbows right underneath your shoulders. This is going to be important later. So watch that lining, making certain, can you draw your, actually you're pretty good. Now, as you press the toenails into the ground, push the pelvis into the ground and the low back. Then pull the belly up, corset those ribs, roll the shoulders onto the back and lift the heart. You're pressing your hands into the ground and pulling them back towards your hips. So you actually should feel this through the back, but not crunching in the low back. If you feel it in the low back, pull the belly up and in. You're probably not using your core enough. One more breath here in this very energetic Sphinx. And then exhale, come all the way down, bring the hands back by the rib cage, tuck the toes and press back any way you'd like, finding your down dog. Each time we come to down dog, we're looking for a little more comfort in our down dog here. Take a few breaths in and out, play with your body. Now, before we hop forward, I'd like you to draw your feet close together As we approach Vashisthasana later, we'll want this action. Roll your hips to the right, coming onto the knife edge of your right foot. And then roll right back up to your down dog and roll off to the left. And then come right back up. Go ahead and look forward, make your way up, finding your forward fold. Once we find that forward fold, inhale halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. This next Sane will be more traditional with our Cobra. Inhale all the way up. Exhale and fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, place the hands in step or hop, finding plank. Each one bringing a little more energy, suiting your body. Exhale, chaturanga. Perhaps you hover and then come all the way down. Stretch through the toes, pull through the heart, and rise up to baby cobra. Keep pulling those elbows towards the waistband. Beautiful. Exhale, come all the way down, tuck the toes, make the way back to down dog. 3 to 5 nice deep breaths here. Checking your foundation. Whenever you start to feel in a pose like, oh dear Lord, I have to hold this for 5 breaths, that's when I right away go to, okay, what can I refine here? So I'm not thinking about how long I'm holding the pose. Instead, I'm just moving through the pose. With your next inhale, look forward and float to a plank pose. Now remember your Sphinx and come to forearm, drawing your forearms down right underneath your shoulders. So your elbows line up right underneath and you're in a forearm plank. Susan did this yesterday and reminded me of the Mark Holtzman move. So perhaps draw your forearm slightly out. Then you're going to place your hips on the mat. Don't let them cave. Stretch through the legs, lift through the heart, and come back to Sphinx. One breath here. Now again, we're using the muscles. We're not using momentum. Dig the toes in, lift up and press back to forearm plank. And then back to full plank. Nice, and exhale back to down dog. And take 3 breaths. Drop your knees, come down to the floor, press back to toe crunching position. Now you saw Kent started to move to child pose, and that's always a great place to go to as an in-between if you need a breath. And then he was like, nope, I can do toe crunching, I'm good there. Take one more breath here in this toe crunching position. And then as you're ready, press back, finding a plank. Take a breath here in this plank, pushing through the heels, stretching through the head, and then draw down to a forearm plank. Release the hips down to the floor, stretch the toes out, pull the heart forward and press to your Sphinx pose. We're going to add on to this. So as you exhale, come back up, finding forearm plank. Now, can you dig your left toes in and lift your right foot up slightly? And then place the right foot down and lift the left foot. And place the left foot down. Draw both knees down to the mat again. Press the pelvis, roll the heart, and press through for Sphinx. Tuck the toes, lift back up to forearm plank, to full plank, and then back to down dog. Take as many breaths as you need or drop to a child's pose, your choice, whatever you need here. At the end of your next breath, you're going to make your way up to a forward fold at the front of your mat. Any way you'd like to get there. From now on, you're welcome to do jump forwards, jump backs, whatever works for you. Remembering, yep, like Kent is doing there, he's in his forward fold and his fingers don't want to touch. So he's either grabbing a block or holding his shins, whatever works, right? One more breath in this forward fold. Draw those hands towards the floor. Grasp opposite elbows. Let the head drop. Pull those shoulders far apart. So make this an active ragdoll. Just like we did in this stretch, think of pulling the shoulders apart as you exhale the body forward. With your next breath, let the hands drop down to the mat. And then inhale halfway up for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale in fold. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms all of the way up. And exhale the hands down to heart center. Go ahead, grab a drink. It's warm in here. I don't know if it's warm in your house. If it's warm here, feel free to mop off. We're actually going to make our way down to the mat for another opener through the hip that I kind of like. So we'll vinyasa our way there. So when you're ready, come back to the front of the mat. Build your Tadasana pose and breathe deeply. Then inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms up, and exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale halfway, exhale and fold. Bend your knees, place your hands, and simply come down onto your bottom. We're going to make our way down onto our mat on our left side. So come on to your left side. Laying down on your left side. And we're going to stretch, you're going to take your left arm and bring it up underneath your head, like we did as kids, how we like to watch TV. Now, this is where you might want to have a strap with a loop, and I'll get that ready for you. And so if you're at home and you don't like to grab your toes from this position, this is where we're going to place a strap around the foot here. And I'm going to give you that strap. Now bend your knee and draw the knee up and think tree, yeah. And so have the strap in the front of your leg and that will help you out. There you go. So think tree in this position. And this might be actually what you're working on today, pressing through the bottom leg, drawing the top knee up. Now, we haven't forgotten the ribs here because the ribs are what's going to stabilize you, the abdominals, as you push through this stretch. So with an inhale, I'm going to ask Kent to lift and raise that right leg up and try not to fall. You can do it. Pull those ribs in, and that's going to help stabilize you, and breathe. Now, if this is uncomfortable on the neck, feel free to release the lower arm and just let the head lay flat. As you push through the bottom leg, try to stretch that top leg up. We're opening that hip up and out. And then bend the knee, bring the foot back into tree, and then stretch the leg out long. You can roll over on your tummy and find your way to the other side and place the strap if you're using it on the other foot. So make your way onto your right side. That bottom leg, you can draw it forward if you really need it, but that releases a lot of what's going on in here, and we want to work the core. So really pushing through that bottom leg, hand underneath, holding the head. Think tree, drawing the left leg up using the strap like you normally would, just drawing the ankle up. If you've got hold of your big toe, that's fine, that works too. Now you might stay here just working to open that left knee out more, using the abdominals to keep you from rolling backwards, or you might decide to inhale and stretch that left leg up and straight. If you've got the big toes with the peace fingers, try to relax the shoulder back behind you as you stretch through that leg. Now both legs remain active here. That bottom leg is helping to anchor also. There should be energy moving all the way through the body, through the bottom of the body, holding so that the top can float. One more breath here. And then come back to tree with that left leg and slide the foot down so that it's next to, with the legs stacked. Press both feet flexing as though you were standing on the floor here. I want you to have that feeling for when we move to a Vashisthasana. If you want to move into full Vashisthasana, you want this feeling of the legs pressing into each other and the feet pressing into each other and flexing. Go ahead and bend your knees and take a strap off if you've got the strap on. Make your way onto your belly, excuse me. And stack the hands like little cushions and lay your cheek, it doesn't matter, left or right, down on there. Bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs a little bit. And then still your windshield wiper, lift your head up and switch the cheek out, and windshield wiper the other way. Just relaxing the neck. And when you're ready, stretch those legs back out long on the mat. Draw the hands back by the rib cage and press your way back and up, finding down dog. That was beautiful. Take a breath or two here in this down dog. We're headed to three-legged dog with a twist. So lift that right leg up. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Kent just like made a noise. And then bend the right knee, bringing the right heel to the right hip. Now stack right hip over left and press that flexed foot out. I'm going to give him a little support here, and we're going to work to draw the right knee up towards the sky. Square the hips off and stretch the leg out, and then draw the right foot down by the left. If you need a break, go ahead and press down to a child's pose. Those of you that are like, I love three-legged dog with a twist, you get to just do some extras. So go ahead and do the other side. But then you'll need to keep flowing as he comes back. And those of us that don't like down three-legged dog with a twist quite so much, keep breathing here. So keys to this pose: lifting through the hips, stacking the hips, lifting through the legs, and then square the hips up and stretch the left leg out and bring the foot down. Exhale and press back to child's pose. And take a couple of breaths in this child's pose. If your wrists are getting sore, go ahead and work those wrists out. Couple of big breaths here. And when you're ready, stretch out, finding a forearm plank. We're going to play with a variation on Vashisthasana here. So from this forearm plank, draw your right arm forward and bring your left fingers out, tented, like we did earlier. So your right forearm presses in and your left hand comes. There we go. Bring your feet close together and roll onto the knife edge of the right foot. Now, perhaps that left hand comes up to the left hip, and maybe that left arm stretches up. So we're in a variation of a Vashisthasana, perfectly wonderful plank. Now, when you're ready, unwind, coming down. You can take a break in between sides if you need to. And then when you're ready, come back, find your forearm plank. Draw those legs close together as the left arm shifts out. Reach that right arm up and breathe. Press back, unwinding, and push down, coming all the way out on the floor. Bring the hands back by the hips. Press down through the toes. So press the toes out long and then down through those toes, lifting the kneecaps, press the pelvis down, pull through the heart, lifting up, and then let the feet float up to meet the hands. Keep pressing the hands towards the feet and breathe. Now, if this causes too much sensation in the low back, feel free to draw the legs further apart, but otherwise, if you can bring them close together, that's great. Exhale and release down towards the floor. Draw the hands back into those pillows and bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs. Now, those of you that are ready for it, we're going to go for our full Vashisthasana. Those of you that prefer one of the earlier versions, feel free to play with those. Remembering you can enter it from table or you can do a forearm plank. So either one. If you're ready for the full out Vashisthasana, press back, finding down dog. Take a breath and set your intention for your Vashisthasana here, all right? Vashisthasana not only requires open shoulders and open hips, strong core, but a lot of determination. So as you're ready, we're going to draw the inner edges of the legs close together. Draw your right hand further into the center of the mat, slightly forward, and then rock off to the knife edge of the right foot. Perhaps the left hand comes up to the left hip. And as you keep pushing, this is gorgeous, as you keep lifting through those hips, you lift the arm up. Perhaps the hips float
forward, easy for me to say. This is a great variation you can always take. When you're ready, unwind, coming back down, being certain to take a break if you need it. Resetting your determination. We always have to come back to, okay, I did that, right? I can do it on the other side. When you're ready, press back, find your down dog. Take a couple of breaths. Bring those feet in close together. Draw the left arm in and then slightly forward. Shift the weight over onto the knife edge. Hand comes to the hip and then reaches up. Feel free to draw that foot forward if and breathe. Unwind, bringing the hands back down. Come down and take a child's pose. Go ahead and draw the hands back by the hips. Take a few deep breaths here, in and out. Celebrate the variation of Vashisthasana that you chose. Take a few more breaths here. If you need to make this an active one, feel free. If you'd like to come up to a seated position, feel free to do that. And we will eventually all make our way back to a seated position on the mat. Finding easy Sukhasana position. You can face the front, that's great, yeah. Finding an easy Sukhasana position here on your mat. Now, as you press into this Sukhasana, I'd like you to refine it just a little bit. So bring your hands down by your hips. And as you press with the hands into the ground, notice if your pelvis is curling forward. Can you lift through the heart and press the hips back? Then bring the hands down and lift up through the heart. You might find that you want to leverage yourself slightly on your legs and lift up. Then the hands can relax. Take a few breaths here, letting the eyes close, coming back to that nice, deep, full in and out breath that you had at the beginning of class. I'd like to say we're done working those cores, but we're not quite done. So take another breath or two here. When you found that nice, deep breath, let your eyes float open, bring the hands underneath the knees, and draw the knees close together. Everybody's favorite pose they love to hate, right? Hands come underneath the thighs. We're headed to boat. Rock the hips back, lift the feet up. You might find it's helpful to flex the feet. Some people like to keep their toes pointed. I really don't care. Just find the one that works for you. Today, unless you love boat pose, probably Ashley and Allie, right? We're going to take the hands out, keeping the knees bent. Lift that left arm up and bring it over to the right side. Pull up through the heart and then see, can you twist here? You might find flexing those toes helps here. Keep driving the knees close together. And then lift the arms up and switch the sides out. Can you find a deeper twist, pulling the right shoulder forward, the left shoulder back? And then come back through center, release the feet, bring the hands underneath the thighs, lift the heart, and then C-curve the spine out and come back through center. Choose your adventure boat pose. Hands come underneath the thighs, exhale, press back, lift those shins up, flex those toes. If you want to point, that's okay. I prefer to flex. And then you choose. Maybe you like the bent knee version. Maybe you like to hold the thighs and stretch the legs out. Choose the version that works for you and hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come back through a neutral position. Pull the heart through as you hold the shins, and then exhale and C-curve the spine. Inhale, back up, lifting through the heart. Go ahead and stretch your legs out long. And again, like we just did in that Sukhasana, hands come down by the hips, lift slightly and slide the sit bones away from the heels. Then press through the legs, drawing the inner edges of the legs close together. If you prefer to have your strap here, go ahead and grab your strap.
Placing that strap around the arch of the feet, lifting up through the heart. Take a nice big breath in, floating those arms up, and then exhale and release. Think of drawing your eyes towards your toes, your heart towards your feet. Roll the shoulders on the back and stretch. Try to draw the belly onto the thighs. Maybe once you've found that full stretch here for you, maybe the head relaxes towards the knees. Take one more breath and walk the hands up the legs. Take the right hand down to the right foot and draw that foot up into the left thigh. Again, you can always keep that strap around the left leg like Kent is doing. Now, if your knee wants to press up, a couple of keys. One is getting on the front of the sit bones. So again, trying to press those sit bones back behind you, and then exhaling and rotating the knee as far as it wants to go. This is mean because that right hip is not a good hip for him. Yeah, you're always welcome to sit on a blanket, a block, a bolster, thank you, a pillow, whatever works. Keep a lot of energy going in that left leg, stretching through that leg, and rotate your torso over towards that left thigh. And then exhale. And again, think of elongating and pouring your front body down over your left leg. This is a lot going on the knee. Kent has a bad right hip, and you'll see I have a funky left knee. So we do what we can, right? We watch our alignment, we watch our form. And walk your hands up that left leg, inhaling as you go. Draw the right knee up towards the sky and switch the legs out. That left leg is going to come up, pressing the left foot into the right thigh, active right foot. Again, your strap can be around the right foot. Another thing that you can do here, if you've got a wonky knee or a wonky hip, is to place a block or something to support that leg. What I'm more concerned about is that the foot is pressing into the thigh and the thigh is pressing into the foot, just like you do in tree. Lift up through the heart, take the sit bones back, take your chest over your right thigh, and then inhale the arms up and exhale and float forward, pouring that front body down over that right leg. Breathing deeply here. And then bring the hands to walk up the legs, drawing that left leg up towards the sky, and then taking the left foot next to the right. Find that nice, beautiful Dandasana pose again, pressing the hips back away from the heels, pushing out through the legs. Inhale, sweep the eyes and the arms up. If you're using a strap, then simply use that strap to pull the heart and the chest forward. Either way, we're going to draw that front body long over the legs. So you want to feel this in the back of the legs, but again, we're seeking sensation, not pain. So releasing the body over the legs, noticing it's going to look different for everybody, right? What do we want to avoid? Too much pull in the shoulders, too much pain in the backs of the knees. So just relaxing. Yeah, beautiful. One more breath in your fold. And then inhale and walk the hands back up the legs. And release and shake everything out. Make your way down onto your back on your mat. As you come all the way down onto the back here, just feel that mat underneath you. Another thing that we're grateful for right now, right? A break where we get to relax and stretch out through our practice. Feel the shoulder blades evenly anchored on the ground. Feel the hip points pressing evenly down through the low back. Notice if the feet are evenly pressing into the mat, just bringing awareness into how you arrive on your mat. Then press through the heels, flex those toes, and begin to build your Supta Tadasana pose. So we press through the feet, we draw the shins in, we pull those thighs apart, and we move from simply laying on our mat to making it an energetic pose. Pull the rib points towards the hip points, roll the shoulders back underneath you, let the arms float out, push up through the crown of the head, and breathe. Like we did at the beginning of class, come to the knife edge of your hands, thumbs towards the sky. Then inhale and stretch the arms up overhead, corseting those ribs, reaching for the floor behind your head. Stretching long through the legs, long through the arms. And then exhale and float the hands down towards the floor. Now pressing the knife edges of the hands into the floor, roll the shoulder blades under the back, bend the knees, and bring the feet 6 to 10 inches away from the sit bones. So on the mat, 6 to 10 inches. There you go. Pressing down into the mat with the hands, press through the heels, lift, inhale, and lift the hips up, finding a bridge pose. Nice big breath here. Then exhale and slowly roll the back down. On your next inhale, rise right back up to that bridge pose. Keep squeezing those knees close together, lifting through the hips, rolling the heart back up towards the space behind your head. Exhale, roll back down. Now variation, you can take a third bridge here exactly like this, or as you inhale, go ahead, inhale, lifting those hips. You can slide the hands underneath you, clasping the hands like we did in Humble Warrior, drawing the hands towards the heels, pushing the feet down into the ground. Some of you will want to draw one foot in and lift the other knee towards the center, drawing that foot up towards the sky. Some of you will simply be holding this pose, whatever works for you. Keep breathing here. So if you're lifting that leg and taking the other option, we want to try to keep lifting those hips, pressing through the heel. And then bend the lifted knee, placing the foot on the floor, and draw the opposite leg up and in, lifting through those hips, corseting those ribs. And then bend the lifted leg, bring it down. Everyone will unwind the hands, release down to the floor, draw the knees in towards the chest, and rock side to side. Keep that right knee in close and stretch that left leg out long. Draw the left knee back in and stretch the right leg out long. Draw both knees back in towards the chest. Hold the right knee right where it is and draw the left foot back down as though you were headed to bridge. Take your 2 fingers, your peace fingers, and grab your right toe. Stack the ankle, the right ankle on top of the right knee. Notice if the right ankle is coming in towards the midline of the body. Try to bring it out so that they are stacked. Then make certain that right knee is away from the rib cage. And as you exhale, draw the right knee and the right ankle towards the floor. If you've got really open hips, Ashley, I'm thinking of you. You might even roll to the right, trying to bring that knee down onto the floor. Don't feel bad if that's not comfortable for you. Come back to center with the hips and then draw both knees back in, grasping those shins. Draw the right foot down onto the floor. Left peace fingers, grab the left big toe. Stack the left ankle over the right left knee. Sorry, left and right got mixed up. Push that left knee wider than the chest. Often it gets caught on the ribs. Try to keep the right hip down as you start to draw the right knee towards the floor. I'm sorry, I said right, I meant left. Kent is like, I'm so confused. What is she saying? Got a little cramp going there? And again, you might lift that right hip up, rolling, trying to draw that left knee down onto the ground. Come back through center. Draw both knees in towards the chest, grasping them. We'll head back to full happy baby now. So separate those knees wider than the chest. Use your peace fingers to grab the toes and press to happy baby.
Now, of course, since we've got the peace fingers and the toes and we've been doing some stretching, this can't be all there is today, right? So you can stay here. This is great. You can use the elbows to open the knees, flatten the sacrum, relax the neck, right? There are a lot of things we could be doing here. But if you'd like to go somewhere else with this pose today, I'm going to invite you to stretch that right leg out. And breathe. And then come back through the center. Stretch that left leg out and breathe. Come back through the center and then stretch both legs out long. We're working. I can almost see Ashley in my mind's eye because my guess is her toes are down by her ears. Yeah, Kent's going to pull on my leg and give me a little extra here. And my goal then is to try not to rock and roll to the left, right? I have to use my core. All right, we're going to bend those knees and come back into center. Grasp the shins, lift up through the heart, pull the belly in to lift the head up to the knees, and come back down, releasing to the floor. Rock over to the right side. We're going to bring all that together. Say what? All right, so some of you, Kent and I will be doing different variations of this pose here. You can just come back and play with Navasana if that's where you want to be, all right? And that's fine. You can also use your peace fingers and grab your big toes. Then rock your weight back and find your Navasana holding your toes. Now, just like we did on the floor in our happy baby, we're going to play with extending one leg and then the other leg, lifting through the heart, pulling in through the ribs to corset and hold you there, and maybe stretching those legs all the way out, lifting through the heart, breathing deeply. Now, slowly, we're going to see if I can do this and not knock over my water. We're going to rock forward. I'm going to knock over my water. I'm going to release my legs and come down on the floor, trying not to bang the heels on the floors. Bring your hands to the outsides of your legs. Lift up through the heart and press the sit bones away. So go ahead and whatever's comfortable for you, hun, find a nice wide stretch here. Yeah, and you might bring your blanket back underneath your hips. Kent is great to help me out here because a lot of these poses, he reminds me that my hips don't like that, honey. So finding your easy stretch, I want you to bring your hands back behind your hips and try to shift your shoulders in front of your sacrum. There you go. And then go ahead and bring the hands out to the side and just try to sit up and lift through the heart. So that's your wide-legged stretch here today, is just lifting through the heart and breathing. Those of you that want to go a little deeper here, we're going to go ahead and inhale the arms up, exhale, and press those arms out long, reaching for the floor, and perhaps letting the hands float down. As you press those palms either straight forward or on the floor, exhale and gently drag the hands back towards the hips, which will increase the stretch through the legs here. And then walk your hands back. If you took that modified version, hands come back underneath the knees wherever we are. And we use the hands to help us draw the knees back in. Go ahead and rotate so you can come back down onto your mat. Come all the way back down onto the back, bend the knees, and take the feet as wide apart as your mat. Bring your arms up into either a cactus or a T, whatever suits your shoulders best. And notice again right away the rib points, what's happening with those ribs. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, take the knees off to the right side. Nice wide supine twist. Here we're working to lay the arms flat, lay the shoulders flat, press the hips off one direction, and draw. In this case, since the knees are going off to the right, we're pulling that lower left back rib cage down. And then inhale and draw the knees back up through center, keeping the feet nice and wide on the mat. Exhale those knees off to the left side. If your neck is fine, you can do as Kent is and take the gaze the opposite direction as the knees. But if your neck is bothering you, you simply keep that neck neutral. Couple more breaths, and here you can see Kent is working to draw flat through the arms, drawing that left rib cage down as much as he can, pressing the knees off to the right and breathing. Draw the knees back to the center. Draw the feet in line with the hips. Lift the right ankle up over the left knee and begin to press that right knee further away from you. Keeping that knee pressed further away from the chest, walk the left foot slightly out left on the mat. Yep, just heel toe, heel toe. And then exhale and take the knees off to your right. A bound supine twist. Just a brief little stretch here. And then inhale and exhale off to the opposite side. The right foot comes flat. And again, we work to draw that right shoulder down and relax it. And then come back through center, unwind those legs. Left foot comes up and over, crossing. If you heel toe that left foot out wider, that'll give you more space. Exhale, take the knees off to the left. And then inhale, drawing the knees up to center and exhaling the foot over towards the right. Inhale, lifting back up. Draw the knees in towards the chest, grasping those shins and rocking side to side. And we have one last twist here. So stretch, I have to lay down to do it. I can't talk you through it. Sorry guys, those of you, Devin observing is gonna ding me on that. I want you to stretch. I had to think about which way I wanted you to go. Stretch your right leg out. Take that right hand over the right knee and stretch the left leg out. If Susan's on this call, this is for Susan. Stretch your left leg across, pressing that knee down. Relax that left shoulder. Think about the left lower rib cage, pressing it towards the floor, relaxing and melting. And again, if the neck is okay, you're free to look off over those left fingers. And then come back, drawing both knees back into the center. Stretch the left leg out long. And using that left hand, pull that right knee cross body as the right arm stretches out. Gaze reaches over towards the right. If you place your left hand on top of your right knee, the weight of the hand will help draw it down. And then come back through the center, drop both knees in towards the chest and grasp those shins. Now, those of you at home, this is Yogi's Choice. If there's a pose you wanted to get to and we kind of almost got there but didn't quite get there and you want to do it, feel free to take a moment. I don't know if Kent has any poses like that he wants to add in here. Otherwise, feel free to stretch out into your favorite corpse or Shavasana pose. Taking a nice deep breath as you relax down onto the floor. And we'll begin at the top of the head. I want you to use your mind's eye and feel where the top of the head meets the floor. Notice the weight of the head on the floor. Notice the sensations of the head as it meets the floor. Draw your mind's eye up to your eyes, your eyeballs. Let the eyeballs get heavy. Feel them melt away from the eyelids. Draw your awareness to your jaw. Begin to wiggle that jaw back and forth, perhaps opening the jaw, moving the tongue around, whatever is comfortable for you. As you draw the lips gently back together, if you're breathing okay, let the tongue either float or rest gently at the roof of the mouth, right where the gum and the teeth meet. Now notice the skin on the face, that mask that we wear. Can you think of just relaxing the face, relaxing the entire mask, letting it get heavy, letting it slide towards your ears? And now draw your attention down to your shoulders. As you exhale, release those shoulders away from each other, nestling the shoulder blades under the back. Noticing if there's any tension in the hands, maybe clenching the hands and releasing them a few times. Bringing your mind's eye back up your arm and to your chest. Take a few breaths and just notice the rise and the fall of your breath. Our bodies are really pretty wondrous things. Can you feel the heartbeat in your chest? As your breath settles into just nice, deep, even breath, bring your gaze down to your hips. Notice if there's any tension in the low back or pulling. If it's uncomfortable for you to lay stretched out in Shavasana, feel free to bend your knees, bringing the feet mat distance apart. Knees come in to rest on each other. If you're stretched out, just notice any sensations in the low back. Breathe into that area. As your mind begins to travel down your body, bringing warmth and relaxation with it as it moves. Notice your thighs. Are you gripping your knees? Are your kneecaps pulling towards your hips? Can you breathe into those kneecaps and release any tension in the thighs? And then finally, as your gaze floats down to your feet, letting those feet just relax. Maybe wiggle the toes a few times, just to notice sensation and then let go. As you bring this fully relaxed body back onto your mat, bring your mind back to the thing for which you expressed gratitude in the beginning of class. However big, however small, let your mind focus on that and let those feelings of gratitude radiate through you. Perhaps bringing up another gratitude and another gratitude and another gratitude as you sit here. Take a few moments now simply to relax your body and to feel the gratitude. Completely exhale. And then inhale, feeling the lungs springing back to life. Do that a few more times and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, enjoying the movement and the sensation. Add in the wrists and the ankles. And as you're ready, gently bring the knees in towards the chest, grasping the shins. Take a breath here. And as you're ready, roll to your favorite side, coming up, easily finding a seated position. Once you're there, draw your hands to your heart center. And if your eyes open as you rearrange, simply let them close again. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your Friday morning to share your practice with us. It is with deep gratitude that we share that practice with each and every one of you that are tuning in live. And with those of you that catch up later on replays, we cannot wait to be back in the studio with you, but we're so thankful for this way to be together when we can't be in the studio. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone. I will open up the microphones. So if anybody would like to share, we can.
Thank you, Sandy and Kent.
Thanks, guys.
Shout out the